Hello family, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking keto and keto staples. I tend to do a little bit more of a dirty keto, which means I allow a couple of things into my diet that some people may not choose to add in with their keto. There's lots of debates on what's keto and what's not keto. So whatever you do for yourself, it works great for you. Whatever I do for myself works great for me. And we are all going to just take away from this what we can take away from it. And I'm going to give you some things that are keto straight across the board. And then I'll tell you some of the things that are a little bit more of a dirty keto that you may want to stay away from if you are choosing to do keto very strictly. Okay, so I have a whole stash behind me here. I went through my fridge and through my pantry and I pulled out the things that I tend to use the most while doing keto, and I'm going to share those things with you right now. So we're going to start off with a big one. This is almond flour. And I use almond flour pretty much anytime I want to make something that is a keto version of something that's not keto. So for example, I use it in baking, I use it in doughs, and anything that would call for flour in general, I will substitute and put in almond flour. So I use it for making keto pizza, and I use, I cannot think of the word right now. Oh my goodness. I will put it here. I'll write it somewhere down here, the kind of dough. I'm just having a blank. But anyways, so I use almond flour for any kind of things that I would have to replace flour for, both baking and cooking. So that's one. Next thing that I use, these are the pantry things. So for baking, I will use xanthan gum, and that just helps with like the texture and the kind of helps with the way it rises. You'll use this in regular baking too, but I use it for keto. It's keto friendly as well, as long as you don't go crazy with it, and you only need a teeny bit of this, so that's fine. Next would be out of the pantry. This is pronounced psyllium fiber, I believe, and this is not extremely keto friendly because it does have, I believe, wheat of some sort in it, from what I've read. I'm just going off of what I do, but I do use this in baking once in a blue moon, very, very rarely. But these are the things that I'm going through the pantry stuff first. So this is one of the things that would be in the pantry. We've got coconut flour. So coconut flour, I use it the same way I would use the almond flour, and this is great in baking because it's a little bit sweeter, and so it's good for baked goods like keto cakes and things like that. Next we have our sweeteners. For baking, I tend to use the Swerve products. This is the confectioner sugar, and this is the granulated sugar. I also really love monk fruit sweetener as a replacement for sugar and other things. Like if I wanted to add sweetener to my coffee, I'll use monk fruit because it has like no aftertaste. Swerve doesn't have much of an aftertaste either. But I like it better in baking because I feel like it breaks down better. Monk fruit somehow, I can feel like the graininess in it. The only thing about Swerve is it does slightly have that like cooling effect that the artificial, the sugar replacements can have. So Swerve does have that a little bit. I don't notice it as much in the confectioners as I do in the granulated, but I do use these in baking because I like the way that they break down better than I like the way that the monk fruit breaks down. So this is also in my pantry. I use chia seed. I like to use this sometimes to make like a keto friendly jelly, a chia jellies or jams, or however you would look at it. It helps with the thickening of it, And I haven't made chia pudding yet, and I don't know what the rules are on chia pudding because I don't know what's in it. I know that people make a lot of chia pudding, but I don't know if that's keto. But I don't know if you can use almond milk, so that is another thing that you can use. Speaking of almond milk, I forgot to pull that out, but that's another really big keto friendly staple that I always keep in the house is almond milk. The unsweetened one, not the sweetened one. We can't use the sweetened one, but I use the unsweetened one, both the original and the vanilla. And then flaxseed, I just add it to things, and I know that people use it as an egg replacer, but in keto we eat lots of eggs, so yes, that is another keto staple. I didn't pull out of the fridge. I forgot those two things. Those are two big things. Eggs are a huge one. I don't know why I didn't pull them out. I forgot. But eggs. And get more into that later. Alright, so I think that's everything from the pantry. So we will go next with, let's see, refrigerated stuff, I guess. So next we have our cheeses. Cheese obviously is huge in keto for the fat and stuff. So these are shredded cheeses. Now, for keto, you may not want to buy shredded cheeses because they do add the like powdery whatever it is that they use. I'm not even sure what it is exactly they use. It's like a cornstarch maybe to help from the cheese from sticking together, and that's not keto. So a lot of people will just buy the block cheeses and shred them themselves, which you can do. I'm lazy and it's worked for me. I've been able to still continuously lose the weight, but if you're trying to be strict, I would suggest that you buy the block cheeses instead and shred them yourself, because that cornstarch is kind of a problem keto wise. I also buy block cheese, and I also buy the sliced cheese, and I'm not sure if this has the same, this one does not say anything about having the cornstarch on it, so I buy the sliced cheese as well for like snacking and things like that. And along with that, I buy salami. A lot of people won't eat processed meats on keto just because they're trying to eat as cleanly as possible, which is understandable. I use this mostly for, sometimes I'll have like a snack if I have like cheese and salami like rolled up. Some people will take this or pepperoni and put it in the oven and make like a crunchy or chip out of it. And sometimes I'll put this on keto pizza instead of pepperoni, because I do like the salami instead of the pepperoni sometimes on my pizza. The next one is, everybody calls it the cheese and bacon diet, which it is not, by the way. Yes, I do eat bacon on keto. I don't eat that much more bacon than I've ever eaten before. I usually just eat it for breakfast. Sometimes I will add it to keto pizza, but for the most part, I'm not overdoing bacon, but I do always have bacon. I know a lot of people carry purse bacon, where they just keep bacon as a snack and carry that around. I don't regularly do that. I think I've had purse bacon once, and it was actually not even my purse bacon. We went to the beach and my bestie brought it with her. And so yes, bacon is another keto staple, but also the other thing is a lot of people won't buy just any brand of bacon. There's certain ones that are better for keto. I just grab whatever is on sale. This is almost gone, but I always keep blocks of cream cheese to use in doughs and baking and fat bombs and all kinds of things like that. So I'll keep cream cheese, sorry, a block of it around. 2, butter for fat. I use a lot of butter, and a lot of people use grass-fed butter. That is definitely better, or ghee, but I just buy regular salted and unsalted butter, because I use the unsalted butter in baking and regular butter for everyday cooking use or adding bits of fat. I know people will put, if they have grass-fed butter, sometimes they'll put that in their coffee for like bulletproof coffee. I don't do that, but that's another thing to do. And then these are kind of new. These are Too Good by Light and Fit. There's yogurt. If you're missing yogurt, this is a Greek blueberry yogurt that has only 2 grams of sugar, 3 grams total carbs. And the brand I said is Too Good. I don't eat these regularly. They're okay. They're not like amazing. They're okay. But sometimes if I need a dessert or if I'm craving like yogurt, then there is an option. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so we have lemons and limes. And yes, you're not really allowed to have fruit on keto because of the sugar content, but I will put lemons in my water to help with 1, flavor, and 2, helps kind of suppress your appetite a little bit. And limes, I'll just put like a squeeze sometimes in food, or you know, in Tito's. If I have like a vodka soda, limes, I'll put lime in that. But that's mostly what I use lemons and limes for. Okay, let's see. We've got pickles. I eat these because they don't have carbs for a snack. Also, the pickle juice helps with electrolytes because of the salt content. So I will drink pickle juice as soon as the pickles are gone. Like the juice sits in the fridge until I get another jar of pickles, because I will drink it from time to time for electrolytes. You can also just obviously buy electrolytes, or you can use you can have Powerade. It's not as great, but I do keep Powerade Zero. Sorry, cut off. Okay. I do keep Powerade Zero in the house for electrolytes. Anytime that I'm starting to feel, and especially in the beginning of keto, when you get the keto flu or you start to feel that little shakiness, I'll drink Powerade Zero and it helps a ton. So I always have that on hand for that reason. Let's see. Okay, so leafy greens. So this is the big part of keto that I feel like gets left out because everybody thinks it's meat and cheese. But leafy greens are important. This is a big thing of spinach. I always have spinach in the house. Broccoli, collard greens, asparagus, things like that are important to have during keto, because the leafy greens do help to kind of wipe out a little bit of the cholesterol. I have learned from my readings, and some people are afraid of the cholesterol rising during keto. There's been a lot of research about whether or not that's valid or not, and maybe I can do a video as I learn more about it. But I've never had any problems with my cholesterol. I do get it checked. I just had it checked recently. My cholesterol is fine. But I keep leafy greens and I eat them in every meal. This between like salads, lettuce, that kind of thing, I always have on hand. And I eat them pretty much with every single time I have a meal. I'll have at least some kind of leafy green, whether it's salad or a veggie. And that's another thing, is I do keep salad stuff on hand. I didn't pull all of that out, but I always have cucumbers, and I put a little bit of red onion. Red onions are not keto. They have high in sugar, but I put a very small amount, and I count those as my carbs in my carb count. But yes, I do cucumbers. I always peel them because with the skin, the carbs are much higher. So that's another thing. And then, of course, we have avocados, healthy fat. You need a lot of healthy fat to keep you full in keto. So avocados, I'm really, to be honest, to be truthfully honest, like I was never big on avocados growing up. I started loving them when I got older, and then even on keto I found that I wasn't using them that often because I never get them ripe, and then when they get ripe I always push them too far and they spoil. That is the main reason that I haven't been using them, but I've just started using them recently, especially now doing OMAD because I need the extra fat. So I've been having avocados on hand and I do love them. I'll add like some pico de gallo to them, just a little, because tomatoes technically are a fruit, so strict keto may not do a lot of tomatoes, but I will add some pico de gallo to it and a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, which I didn't pull out either. I thought I was prepared, but apparently not. Pink Himalayan salt's great for electrolytes too. So I'll put that on there, and then I will have that with it. Let's see, what else do I have back here? Cauliflower. So people use this for cauliflower rice. I do not like cauliflower rice. I have tried it. I may try it again, but I don't like it. But I do love mashed cauliflower, like mashed garlic cauliflower, so I'll use that. Some people will use this for pizza crust. I don't use it for pizza crust. I use fathead dough. There we go. That's the word I was looking for earlier. I use that for my pizza crust, but you can definitely use this for pizza crust and then lots of different things. Cauliflower is pretty versatile in that way, and the flavor is not too strong, so you can flavor it in different ways. But I love mashed cauliflower. I use that as a side a lot. Not so much cauliflower rice, but a lot of people like that. So that, I always have a cauliflower. And let's see. Okay, so the other things that I have here are mostly things that are once in a blue moon keto kind of treats that you know, you don't want to go crazy on. But these two things are Lily's chocolate. This is sugar-free chocolate that is sweetened with stevia. And so I always have, this is the original, this is the almond. They come in a bunch of different flavors and different types. And so I keep these on hand. I'll put them in fat bombs. I'll bake with them. I'll eat it plain if I'm like craving chocolate, especially the almond one. And so these are some of my favorite chocolates to kind of keep in the house for those purposes. And then this is my like guilty pleasure. I have another guilty pleasure which I don't have in the house right now because I am doing OMAD and I'm trying to stay away from it and eat as cleanly as possible to kind of get back into ketosis. But Coke Zero is a guilty pleasure of mine. It does have, I believe, sucralose in it, which can spike your insulin, which can get you back to cravings and hunger and wanting to eat sugar. So it's not the best to have all the time, but I do drink Coke Zero. The other thing that I drink on keto is sparkling ice, which I also believe has sucralose in it. So be careful with those. And then the other thing that I'll drink besides water, obviously coffee and tea, is the bubbly, because that's a flavored water, but it's like a sparkling flavored water that doesn't have sucralose, so that's probably better. But this is my other really guilty pleasure, which is sugar-free candy. These are the Russell Stovers. I keep them in a jar and I have all different kinds in here. We got pecan delights, caramel, coconut, mint, and I keep those for when I need some candy. And sometimes I'll have like the sugar-free like Lifesavers or Jolly Ranchers in there. I don't think I have any more in here right now, but I'll have those as like kind of to get me through the days when I'm really wanting candy. And so fair warning, people say these mess up their stomach a lot and that you'll have a lot of TMI moments. So they don't mess with my stomach at all, but go slow on them just in case. And the other thing, sugar, if you're looking at sugar-free candy, stay away from the gummy bears. Believe me, just go on Amazon right now, read the reviews on the sugar-free gummy bears, and then you might change your mind about those. But those are most of my staples. Those are the things that I stick to on keto. Like I said, you didn't see the eggs, but that's a big one. I always have eggs for breakfast. I use eggs in baking. I use eggs in keto bread if I make keto bread with almond flour. I use eggs for everything. I always keep a ton of eggs in the house. We have, I think, maybe 3 dozen in there right now, almost. So always have eggs on hand, and I think that's everything. So I would love to hear what some of your favorite keto staples are, the things that you always keep, and if I missed anything I would like to know so I can add that to my keto regimen. And if you have any questions about any of the things that I shared, please post them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more info on keto and lifestyle and all kinds of things. And like this video, turn on notifications so that you can see when new videos are posted. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.